You have probably made the connection that we are going to use similar shapes, and in this case, similar triangles, to find the missing lengths of similar triangles here. We are going to set up our proportions by comparing the similar sides or the congruent sides of each triangle. We know that we have H, and let me change that color. H, and H is congruent to this side, so 64 inches, and that is the same proportion as this side of 43.5 inches and 32 inches. Okay. Now in this case, I'm just going to cross multiply and then simplify. We would have 32 times h, which would be 32h, equals, now we're going to do 64 times 43.5, that equals 2,784, and now we're going to divide both sides by 32. Okay, so we divide by 32, and that is h equals 87. All right, so through indirectly measuring, by taking the point of the shadow to the top of our statue and measuring the length of the shadow of the person to their top, then we know that h equals 87 feet. Another way to set it up is you can also take the side h, so we have h, and the other side of the triangle, the larger triangle, is 43.5. So we're trying to find that proportion. Should be the same as the proportions for, we're comparing the same side, h. The congruent side is this side, so 64. And that's going to be connected to 32. And now this is kind of the similar way. The only thing that we switched here was the 43.5 and the 64, but it's going to simplify it to be the same thing as h here. H equals 87, and I should say inches. Okay. For our next problem, suppose a bell tower casts a 27.6-foot shadow. At the same time, a nearby tourist casts a 1.2-foot shadow. If the tourist is 6 feet tall, how tall is the tower? So for these, it's important to make drawings and label your drawings. So here we have the bell tower is going to be 27.6. Oh, that's the shadow. My apologies. Let me go ahead and change that. So the shadow is going to be 27.6 feet. Okay, and then we have the nearby tourist casts a 1.2-foot shadow, and they are the height of 6 feet. So let's say 6 feet tall, 6 feet, and they cast a shadow that is 1.2 feet. Now we form our triangle there, and we form our triangle here. So these two triangles are similar. Let's pretend that they're similar. And then we're going to label this side h for height. So now we're going to do the same setup where we're going to do 6, or h is congruent to this side of 6. And that's the same proportion as 27.6 over 1.2. And then we're going to cross and multiply.